Hey y'all, so I'm here with an update about Dorit and her finances, child, because you know that's a mess. Okay, so as you know, Dorit's home was scheduled for foreclosure. It's been actually pushed off a few times. It was supposed to happen back in May, then it was June 3rd, then it was June 9th, which was yesterday, but then they got a 1 day extension to June 10th, and now it's been scheduled for June 16th. So we are going to see what happens this time around and how many more times it's going to get pushed off until something comes to pass. And as you know, Dorit dropped her book and she's been doing some interviews. And of course, her finances comes up in a lot of these interviews. I watched a couple of them and she was asked what did she have to say in response to PK's claims. And she said, well, first of all, it's not all completely accurate. Not completely. So I guess there's some truth, right? Basically, he's trying to make her look bad. And which is kind of rich that she's going to say that, considering how she's the same person who started this smear campaign by calling him an alcoholic several times. But okay, fine. He's making you look bad. And she said, listen, her response is going to come through the courts, okay? And she said, you know what? Do I spend money? Yes. Do I spend a lot of money on clothes and designer things? Yes. But guess what? It's my money. And I'm not spending his money. I'm spending my own money, okay? So that's what she says, okay? And she also said that they had a separation agreement where he was supposed to be paying the bills, I guess, to the mortgage and so forth. And she said, when I was doing my budget, I just didn't plan for paying the mortgage because I didn't think I had to. And she said there wasn't any kind of communication. So I just assumed that everything was going status quo, that, everything was being paid. My problem, though, right? The fact that you haven't heard any communication should have been a hint for you to confirm, right? If this were me and I'm going through a divorce and we have an agreement, after that first month, I'm going to check to see if things are being paid the way they're supposed to be paid. Okay. And then you got to consider last year, she had already had this issue with foreclosure. And then you still not checking on the mortgage. I just don't even understand that. Like, why wouldn't you just confirm to make sure that things are going according to plan, to make sure that there's no surprises? Because let's be real. If somebody decides they don't want to pay your bills, he might not say them, just like he didn't. He didn't say anything. He just going to let you find out. Okay. So I didn't understand that. And then here's my other thing. Like, you make enough money where part of your budget should be emergency savings, right? So if you got money to budget for Chanel and Prada and everything else, then why wouldn't there be a budget line for savings? Because you never know, especially now that you're going into your single mom era. You don't know what kind of emergencies can arise. So I felt like there should have been a budget line for some type of cushion. And had there been one, maybe it wouldn't have been quite as bad. I mean, granted, I don't think she could have still paid all of this, but I don't think it would have been quite as bad. But at the same time, we're talking about somebody who doesn't really think logically. I mean, if you go back and look at some of those text message exchanges, she was talking about how she was actually getting at PK for finding out about her finances. She was like, how are you getting these reports? And he was like, hello, I subpoenaed your bank statements because, we're going through a divorce. And she was like, well, that's an invasion of my privacy. That's how I spend. That's my personal business. She was threatening to go after him. And just like, girl, you don't understand that that's part of the process. So the fact that she didn't even understand that that was part of the process makes me scratch my head a little bit. And that makes me wonder, okay, is your lawyer not advising you or you just choosing not to listen to the lawyer? I mean, I don't really understand, where that's coming from. And unfortunately, I just don't know if she's really learning any lessons because she was on Watch What Happened Live recently. And Andy asked, he said, okay, so in hindsight of everything that has happened, do you think that the women were right for being concerned about your finances? Do you know she said no? She still said no. She's just standing firm on that. It's just like, girl, we're really this blind to accountability at this point? But I guess because you know what it is, I think Dorit is still trying to hold on to claiming ignorance. So because she didn't know, this isn't her fault. She's supposed to be completely blameless in this. And I don't really agree with that because at the end of the day, you're an adult, right? The only way you can move as an adult is to make sure that your bills are paid. And it makes me sad for kids. Are we making sure they get what they need? Because it seemed like you spent more money on yourself than you spent on them, according to the documents. So what kind of budgeting were you doing? Was the whole budget going to luxury items? But I'm going to say this, though. I feel like PK is getting off a little bit too light with some of y'all. Because everybody is so quick to talk about Dorit and her spending. And yes, she does have a spending problem. But are we really going to sit here and act like PK don't have a spending problem too? Let's not forget, he's not great with money either. Remember, that's the whole reason why the house had to be in her name. Because his bankruptcies and so forth. Okay? Let's go back to the earlier seasons when Camille confronted Dorit and said, hey, your husband actually owes a friend of mine $1 million. She was trying to tell you then, hey, things ain't as they appear. So he has a thing with spending money too, because even in the court documents, it shows that he's making less money than her. He's also have loans to fund his lifestyle. And he's living in a $16,000 apartment that doesn't look like he can really afford either. And I think he's driving an expensive Range Rover. So he's living excessive too, but it seems like he's trying to point the whole light on Dorit. And I don't know if that's really fair. And if we're going to be really honest, PK started all of this. We got to go back to his interview. I know I talked about this before, but let's bring it all home for a second. PK started this whole mess trying to live above their means, okay? When he was in that interview, he said that he came to LA right after he filed for bankruptcy, okay? And when he got to LA, his friend told him the only way that you're going to make it in LA is if you have money, power, or celebrity. Well, apparently he chose celebrity because he encouraged Dorit to go on the show. She didn't even want to go on the show. And he said he knew how to close a deal. So when he went to the house to go film, he said he made sure they closed the deal because he knew he needed this boost. So he was hoping that he got a boost from all of this. So what do you think happened after they signed up for the show? Of course, they had to keep up this facade of having a luxury lifestyle so they can keep being on the show. So you don't think he also encouraged some of this nonsense spending that they've been doing? Of course he did, right? He even said out of his own mouth, he said, you know what, I created a monster. And he's right. It's gotten to the point where it's just completely out of control and he doesn't even know what to do at this point. So if we're going to be real, PK's not completely innocent here. So I think we got to remember that. They've been having money trouble. Recently, Camille and Dorit have been exchanging words back and forth. So Camille actually posted a video on her Instagram and says, you know what, I actually gave you a gift during season 9 when the whole dog thing came about because you ended up looking like a victim. When in all reality, there was a woman walking around asking, where's the money? And asking Dorit, did the investors get paid? And I believe they're talking about the investors to the Beachbody swimwear that she had because, you know, she didn't talk about that anymore. And I did hear her say in the interview, I think that kind of went down with COVID. So she had to go in a different direction because of that. So let's be clear. They've had money troubles all along. And I feel like he's also encouraged it. Because another thing we got to realize, too, the reason why that mortgage is so high, because that was my question. It's just like, okay, it's a $6.5 million house. How are they $800,000 behind? The math just wasn't mathing to me. In theory, the mortgage should be around $30,000. And sure enough, that is what the normal mortgage is. But they took out a second loan, a second high interest loan, and that loan became due in full. So that's why the balance is up to $800,000. So the question is, and I think they took out the loan shortly after they got the house. So the question is, was the loan used for the house or was the loan used for the spending? Who used the money? Because, you know, allegedly PK has a gambling problem. So I'm just saying the milk ain't clean for him either. But he's trying to make her out to be the complete monster in this when you know what? Y'all created this mess together. So I think both of y'all got to take some blame in this. But at the end of the day, I'm hoping that, you know, Dorit kind of finally gets her life together because it seems like PK has been helpful with the foreclosure thus far, but he has gotten it postponed a few times. So we'll have to see how all of this plays out. And I'm just hoping that going forward, especially now that she is on her own, that she's going to start making better choices financially. Okay? So I'll see y'all with the next update.